Lo único más poderoso que el odio es el amor. The only thing stronger than hate is love. So if you didn't love Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl, I suggest you go hug yourself because you need it. That whole show was pure love, including an actual wedding. But Megyn Kelly said it's a middle finger to Americans who don't speak Spanish. Megyn, go hug yourself. And world-class hater Trump said there is nothing inspirational about this mess of a halftime show. This, just days after posting and deleting a racist meme of the Obamas as apes. And none of that is actually shocking. Everything the Trump administration does comes down to a strategy of 5 things: divide, distract, disengage, disinform, or disgust. Yes, they all start with a D. It's my signature method for understanding what looks to be like madness, but it also has a method. So let's look at last week's news with that in mind, because it's easy to get lost in the weeds, like the people in the Bush costumes at the Bad Bunny Ball. Best gig ever. Where do they advertise for that? Bienvenidos a the state of everything. I'm Maya May, and I'm going to try to cover a week's worth of news in under 10 minutes. Good thing, because the Washington Post just cut another 300 newsroom jobs so Jeff Bezos can focus more resources on finding his lost soul. Elon Musk has stopped trying to find his on Mars and has instead shifted focus to building a self-growing city on the moon. And since this richest man in the Epstein files needs our money to fund his exit strategy, he's back to funding the GOP to the tune of at least $25 million. Meanwhile, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announced the arrest of another alleged leaker tied to a journalist, something press freedom groups are condemning because journalism isn't a crime, or at least it wasn't before this administration. Now, if this all feels bleak, watch to the end, because I'm feeling actually optimistic. Everything happening right now is just proof that the Trump administration has backed itself into a corner, because they're acting like a wild animal that's been backed into a corner, lashing out at everything and everyone, including Team USA. But I'll get to that, and the reason I remain optimistic, after we talk about Tulsi. This week marks 1 year since Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation as Director of National Intelligence. And this walking Russian talking point has been a busy bee. And I don't mean like Bzz or Cardi, who was very cute at the Bad Bunny Pulse show. But if you remember, Gabbard personally showed up during the FBI seizure of ballots in Fulton County, Georgia. She said it was at Trump's request and even facilitated a call so he could thank the agents. Now, another report says that last spring she sent FBI agents to Puerto Rico to seize voting machines there over conspiracy theories that Venezuela was hacking into U.S. elections, which is kind of ironic. Has anyone checked on Maduro? It's only been a month, gone and forgotten, because the news cycle is insane. Now, Gabbard denies all wrongdoing, but why would you trust her? I mean, a whistleblower just accused her of hiding critical national security intelligence from Congress. The NSA intercepted a call between foreign intelligence officials discussing someone close to Trump, and Gabbard personally, ever the micromanager, this one, pulled the report, hand-delivered it to Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, and then ordered the NSA to not publish it. On a high note, a judge blocked the deportation of more than 350,000 Haitians with temporary protected status. Now, if Haiti is not safe to travel to, it's probably not safe to return to. And this would have given the Trump administration more communities to target, which would have meant more chaos, which is what the Trump administration needs to distract, there's that D, from its failed economic policies. For an administration that lies constantly, they're actually pretty transparent. They will do anything to stay in power, and that power is slipping through their fingers. Polls and elections prove it. Chastity Verrett Martinez just flipped a Trump plus 13 district in Louisiana, and Democrats have flipped 26 state legislative seats this year. Even Steve Bannon is warning that MAGA enthusiasm is low. Well, yeah, Steve, because the scam is up. Republicans haven't delivered anything except for culture war crap. And you don't have to be brilliant. You don't have to be a policy analyst to realize, oh shit, I'm broke. Sure, Trump will give a baby a Trump account, but that money is just propping up banks and corporations, and kids can't touch it without a penalty until they're 18. And by then, Trump will be long gone. Hopefully. The Trump administration is failing, and that's why the GOP has launched an all out assault on voting. They're pushing the SAVE Act based on the lie that undocumented immigrants are just swarming the polls. We can't even get citizens to vote. This new law would require proof of citizenship in person to register, which would kill online and mail registration, which is how most people register to vote. Millions of women whose legal names didn't match the names on their birth certificates would also have to take extra steps to register. Now, why would Republicans want to keep people from voting when voting is what got them the House, the Senate, and the presidency? Because people have realized they're bullshit. Democrats have won or overperformed in 244 of 274 key elections since Trump took office. So the only way to stay in power is to keep people from voting. The nonpartisan org Protect Democracy warns of what they're calling a three-headed chimera: law enforcement, national intelligence agencies, and media basically working together. Gabbard and her office to turn conspiracy theories into official findings and justify overreach. Bondi, Noam, and Patel to use their offices to intimidate voters, raid election offices, purge rolls, and manufacture fraud narratives, and for corporate media outlets to underreport or look the other way. Legal organizations like Democracy Forward and Democracy Docket, as well as state attorneys generals and election officials, are actively working to protect our elections. But we also have an important role, the most important role. And after this weekend, I'm optimistic. Because for Trump to kill democracy, he needs Americans to do one thing: hate each other. And that's why Bad Bunny is a threat. He brings people together in Spanish. The Trump administration needs us to hate each other and immigrants, to think of them as the enemy, and just as important, to believe that everyone else does too. And that's how they control the narrative. But the truth is, America loves Bad Bunny because he's so damn lovable. And that's why the Grammy to Super Bowl back-to-back Bad Bunny weekends is spiking Trump's blood pressure. MAGA is screaming about immigrant caravans, and Bad Bunny literally ended his show with a caravan of people who just want you to love, not hate, dance, not fight, eat good food with spices in it. And when MAGA is this angry, almost performatively angry, we have to diagnose the source of their rage. And since self awareness isn't MAGA's thing, I'll tell you where it hurts. They captured all three branches of government, but they couldn't capture the hearts of the American people. So, in a I'm taking my ball and going home sort of way, they went to a shittier halftime show, and that made them feel left out. And feeling left out made them sad. And Bad Bunny's halftime show, being the embodiment of love conquers hate, made them mad because it obliterates the MAGA narrative. And if they can't control the narrative, they lose. Trump tells on himself when he calls Hunter Hess a loser. Hunter Hess is an Olympian, by definition, not a loser. You know things are bad for Trump when he's attacking white Olympians. Hunter should be their ally. Can you get any whiter than a skier named Hunter? Actually, yes. Byron Donalds, the GOP House rep from Florida, took to X to say, "You chose to represent our country. If that's too hard for you, then go home." Byron knows a lot about home since he spends all of his time in the House. Experts have warned us for years about increasing polarization, but watching it play out over the Super Bowl and Winter Olympic weekend, priceless. Even JD Vance got booed on the world stage, where the Olympic values are excellence, respect, and friendship. This administration is not excellent. We do not respect you, and we sure as shit don't want to be your friend. The next funding vote is February 13th. The GOP has until then to convince you to fund their mass deportation machine that creates chaos and makes rich people richer. And reasonable people have until then to call our representatives and demand our tax dollars be invested in what will actually help America grow. Healthcare, education, housing. Love beats hate, y'all. We just have to remind them. Thank you for watching. America, you got this.